Gap case, a major problem for the Gap case. The Gap used a franchising and global strategy, which both focused on international expansion of Gap's brand name. These two strategies led to declining sales by using the global strategy. They were dealing with international markets such as the Middle East and Asia, which specifically require different dress codes within their country. By using the franchising strategy and expanding globally, Gap would need to adhere to specific dress codes of other countries. The designer of the Gap would need to consider developing designs and styles with the Gap brand name that conforms to Middle Eastern cultures. The critical sub-problems, there was a short turnover of CEOs within a 7-year time span. All the CEOs used a turnaround strategy by building markets internationally and increased profit and growth. This caused a slight problem with the revenue due to the extensive cost of cuts in supply chain, um, which slowed product to market cycle time. This delayed the response in fashion changes also. There was a major competition between the Gap, TJ Maxx, Ross Stores, Abercrombie and Fitch, American Eagle Outfitters, and other major corporate brands, namely Sears, JCPenney, Target, and Walmart. These stores were offering the exact same clothing at a lower price. However, there may have been a difference in the quality of merchandise or material. The downturn in the economy was also a critical sub problem with a major factor in declining sales. There was less money more there was less money per consumer, and they were not able to shop as frequently as before. The part two is the alternative strategies, and we had to list three. The three I listed were the multi-domestic strategy, the transnational strategy, and the broad differentiation strategy. The multi-domestic strategy, think local, act local, is one based on differentiating products and services on a country by country or regional basis to meet off differing buyer needs. Using this strategy involves having plants produce different product versions for different local markets. Some of the advantages of this strategy are that the foreign subsidiaries includes a factory, local produced goods and products can be adapted to local markets. This approach places minimal pressure on headquarters staff because management of country operations is delegated to individual managers in each country. Firms with limited international experience often find multi-domestic strategy an easy option as they can delegate many tasks to their managers. Some disadvantages of the multi-domestic strategy are the firm's foreign managers tend to develop strategic vision and culture and processes that differ substantially from those of the headquarters. Managers have little incentive to share knowledge and experience with those in other countries, leading to duplication of activities and reduced economies of scale. Limited information sharing also reduces the possibility of developing a knowledge-based competitive advantage. If Gap were to employ the multi-domestic strategy, I think they would stand a better chance at surviving and becoming a clothing giant. By this, I mean that Gap must realize or take into consideration when expanding into the Middle Eastern countries that one size does not fit all. There are strict rules and guidelines that different cultures follow. Some of the clothes being sold in the Middle East by Gap does not conform to the religious belief of Muslims. The women in the Muslim country are not allowed to show all of their face, and some cannot wear pants. Gap must take this into consideration when they are expanding into the Middle East. There was a direct. This is a direct result in the decline of sales. If Gap wants to taste success in the Middle East, they have to rethink their current business strategy. The transnational strategy is think global, act global, incorporates elements of both globalized and localized approach to strategy making. The firm seeks to combine the benefits of global scale efficiencies with the benefits of local responsiveness. Interchange still occurs between the home base and the foreign subsidiaries, and between foreign subsidiaries. This is a process called global learning. Some advantages of a transnational strategy are the benefits of both local responsiveness and global integration. It enables the transfer and sharing of resources and capabilities across borders. It provides the benefits of flexible coordination. Some disadvantages of transnational strategy is that it's more complex and harder to implement. Conflicting goals may be difficult to reconcile and require trade-offs. Also, implementing is more costly and time-consuming. If Gap were to employ the transnational strategy, I think the local response to the consumer would enhance overall total sales. The transnational strategy encourages companies to think global, but at the same time be able to localize themselves with the citizens in that area. The broad differentiation strategy is a competitive business strategy whereby firms attempt to gain a competitive advantage by increasing the perceived value of their products and services to the perceived value of their firm products and services. Some advantages of the strategy are commanding a premium price for their product, increasing unit sales, and by gaining buyer loyalty to its brand. When firms produce highly sought after, distinctive products, they do not have to engage in destructive price wars. In effect, successful pursuit of a high differentiation along some key product attribute or buyer need may allow the firm to carve its own strategic group within the industry. Some disadvantages of this strategy are competition are able to quickly copy most or all of the appealing products. The company's attempt at differentiation produces little response from the buyers and overspending on efforts to differentiate the company's product. Another disadvantage of differentiation is the difficulty in sustaining a price premium as a product becomes more familiar to the market. Okay, part three is the solution. The solution for Gap, um, the strategy that I chose was the multi-domestic strategy, and this strategy would work for Gap once they expanded into the Middle East. The multi-domestic strategy is one based on differentiating products and services on a country by country or regional basis to meet differing buyer needs and to address a divergent local market conditions. When expanding into such a region as the Middle East, Gap Incorporated must that local so consider the local customs and traditions. Women are not allowed to wear certain clothes in these different regions of the world. When Gap used the franchising and global strategy, they interpreted a one size fits all, which does not fit in this case. The other strategy Gap used was when expanding was a global strategy, which employs a basic competitive approach in all countries where it operates. It sells much of the same products everywhere. Um, I don't think the clothes design were with local customs and traditions in mind. Also, part of the solution would be research and development would keep existing product line and introduce at least one more line, maintaining a presence in both segments. Marketing, our company will spend aggressively in promotion and sales in both segments. We want every customer to know about our superb designs, and we want to make our products easy for customers to find. We will price with a well price at a premium. Okay, part four was the strategy implementation, and the strategy implementation, the approach that I took on this was I would start right at the top by um, with my CEO. I would since we're dealing with clothing, I would make sure that this person has an extensive knowledge and a proven track record in the industry. I would concentrate on this person's leadership skills, educational background, past work history, and how effective this person was in his or her last position. I would focus on leadership skills of this person and are they able to motivate employees and how are their persuasive skills. Last but not least, I would get a feel of this individual and see if they would fit or conform to my company's cultures and values. The next step in the process would be to work on the structural design. I would design an organizational chart. Once I develop the organizational chart, I would create teams and determine centralization. The centralization is implemented to establish the equilibrium within the organization. After centralization, we would then arrange facilities and task design. The next step in the strategy implementation would be to develop a human resources department. The human resources department would recruit and select employees that would conform to the values and cultures of this company. Human resources would manage transfers, training, and promotions. They would also handle direct layoffs and rehires or recalls if they were needed. The next step of the implementation process would be the information and controls system. This team would be set up to revise pay and develop a reward system. This team would also change budget allocations, implement information systems, and apply rules and procedures. The monies used to finance this operation would come from the stockholders and investors. Looking at the debt to equity ratio of GAAP, they would be able to obtain a loan from a financial institution to fund this endeavor. GAP's current debt to equity ratio is a 2.0 and the industry was at 4.7, showing that GAP Incorporated is below the industry average.